Hi, I'm Tom Jones and welcome to another free art lesson. I'm here in Raleigh, North Carolina, and we're having a special week here. We have the Art of the Carolinas, and we have the largest contingency of student artists, teachers, and vendors from around the world here. It's an exciting time. I hope you can join us. For this particular art lesson, I want to show you a different approach to maybe doing a sunset. So I'm going to take my half-inch brush. I would suggest that you start with a small brush like a half-inch flat or maybe a number 8 round. But at any rate, I'm going to start with a nice bright yellow. Let me suggest to you that when you do this particular exercise, you start with a very clean water, buckets of water, a very clean palette, and clean brushes. It's very important. You don't want to contaminate the sky. Anytime you're working with the sky, clean water, clean palette, clean brushes. So let me go ahead and pick up some of my yellow, my light yellow now, which is a lemon yellow. And then what I'll do is I'll just put a little bit of a brush stroke across my sky, and I'm going to leave an area of white between where will be the top of the tree line and my particular area of yellow. So I'm just putting in a little bit of yellow now. Now what I'll do is I'll come back, and I can go to a larger brush in this case. I'm going to go to a 3/4 inch brush, and I'm going to pick up a red. Now this red is a deep red. It's not a rose color or a permanent magenta or an alizarin crimson, but it is not also a cad red or an orangey red. So it is a friendly red to both blue and yellow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in now a little bit of red in the sky. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and grab a little bit of my Quin Rose, which is a little bit darker red. And this red here you can make into a purple if you want very easily with ultramarine deep. So I'll add just a little touch of that in. Then I'll come back in and I'll get some of my ultramarine blue deep. And then we'll continue on painting by using a little bit of the ultramarine blue deep in the sky. Now I'm just giving you an example of where I have my sky and sunset going on here. I'm going to add a few dots of water from this particular dot bottle to my sky area. And I'm just going to loosen up some edges, and then I'll continue on painting. I'm going to loosen some of the edge at the bottom of where the yellow is above the sky there. So let me take a little bit of that area now and just lift out a little color there. I'm working on a little bit of an angle, so the colors are going to run toward me. I'll come back in and add just a little bit more blue up here in the sky. And this is going to be one of those exciting dynamic type skies with the clouds and so forth. So it's not a smooth sky where I go to yellow and then red and then blue. It's got a little bit of a cloud action going on back here. So now what I want to do is I want to come in and I want to do the mountain area. Here's what I need to do. At the top of the tree line or mountain area, whatever you choose it to be, I'm going to repeat the colors yellow and red. So watch what I do. I'm going back to my half-inch brush, the half-inch flat. I'm going to come back in. I'm going to add some yellow at the top of where the tree line is. This will give you the illusion that the top of the tree line is almost on fire because of the color there. But anytime you get a warm dynamic sky like that, when that sun goes behind that tree line, it will look that way. So we're going to repeat that. So now I've got my yellow and my red. Watch what I do. I'm going to go pick up my darkest blue at this time. It's almost a black blue. It's a Prussian blue. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to put that color right underneath where the yellow and the red is. And the colors will fuse together a little bit. But see how I've got that color going on up here? Take a little bit of a tissue. If it's getting up too high, just take a little bit of your tissue and just lift out a little bit of the blue if you want, like so. And then take your brush and you can repeat those colors again. Just come back in, we'll add a little yellow up there. We'll come back in and play with a little red. We'll add a little red back in there, just to make it even more dynamic. All of a sudden, you're starting to see the top of that tree line on fire almost. Just picking up some of the excess color. Back to my 3/4 inch brush. I'll add just a little bit of hooker green to it. And then what I'll do is I'll come back in and continue on with this tree line now. Watch what's happening. So I'm getting a little bit different color going on. And I'm just pulling some of that color up just with the edge of my brush now. It gives you the illusion there's a tree, top of the trees there. Nice and dark, nice and rich. And if you pick up a little bit of the color up here at the top, don't worry about it too much. It'll bleed up there just a little bit. Just be careful, pick it up if you need to. But see how I've got this nice color at the top of the tree line now. Same idea, pull some of that color up if you want, just to create the illusion of a tree line there. Continue on across, like so. Now you have that tree line. Let's come down into the area where we have a grass area in front of that. So let me pick up some of the yellow again. We'll put a little bit of a yellow out in here. We'll do a little bit of that. We'll come in and we'll start putting in some green and some of the darker color for a grass area over here. Have a little fun with that. Maybe a little darker as we get close to the base of the tree line, because that sun is behind that tree line. So it'll be a little darker at the base of the tree line. And as we come further down, it would get a little lighter. So we've got a little bit of that tree line along the edge there, like so. Let's continue on. Let's pull up a little bit of yellow ochre and a little bit of green, and just continue on putting in some color for this grass area, marsh area, whatever you want it to be is your choice, but just having that grass along the edge here like so. As we come farther out, maybe get just a little lighter as we come further away, because it's reflecting from the sky into the grass area. Now, let me do one thing. I'm going to take and dry the painting just briefly, and then I'm going to come across the top and darken the top of the sky just a little bit more, and you'll see how that sunset is easy to perfect. Now, it's completely dry, and it must be. What we're going to do now is I'm going to start where the sky is. I'm going to put a little darker blue at the top of the sky, and then we'll start doing a little bit more color here, and then we'll darken again this tree line just to get it a little darker. So we'll come back to the sky, ultramarine blue deep, and we'll come in and we'll darken this area up here just to get a little darker at the top. This will give us a little more topography in the sky, darker at the top, lighter at the horizon. So just a little bit more with the blue up here. We'll cover up some of the white, because the white we don't want to compete with the sunset area, so we'll cover a little bit of that up. We'll come out and just start putting in some color along the edges here to cover up just a little bit of the area that's white along the horizon line. Let me get a little stronger blue out. So we'll cover up a little bit of this area along the edge. Let me get a tissue. We can soften some of this just a little bit along the edge. See how we're toning down the light in the sky now, coming along the same way over here. A little blue in this area. Just tone that down. See how it's a nice rough sort of look to the sky, a nice interesting sky with the rougher cloud area. So we got that going on. Now what I want to do is I want to darken this area of the tree line just a little more. I'm going to go down to, let's say, a 3/4 inch brush, go back to my Prussian blue, and let's take and come back in and just darken a little bit more of this tree area. Just get it a little darker, because what happens is that the colors will dry a little lighter than they are when they normally put it down. So we want to lighten this or darken this just a little bit more. And then we'll do the same with the area of the grass area back here. We'll just darken it just a little bit behind the tree or in front of the tree area. So we do that just a little bit there. Let it come out just a little farther on the color. Like so. And then I'm going to come back in and I'm going to add just a little bit more of the bright yellow and red to this area to warm it up just a little bit more. I'll get some of my red and we'll come in and put a little more of that red there. And let the colors fuse. It'll make it interesting and exciting when they fuse together like that. Sometimes you have to work with this just a little bit, but you'll get it. You practice it, it'll become easy for you. Okay? Let's take a little bit of this area, pick up a little excess here. A couple of finishing touches here and there on the sky. Get a little darker at the top once again. And the darker it is, the more dynamic your sunset will be. Just a little more blue in the sky. But that's an easy way to create a dynamic sunset. Have a little fun with it, and I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for joining me. For more information, check out my website at tomjonesartist.com or email me at tom@tomjonesartist.com. Thanks for joining me.